What's up? Nope. Going back live. Yeah, I thought it was funny. Chat loves it. Chat loves my memes. Whoa, just had a whoa, what was that? I just had a crazy street power outage. Just had a power outage. What was that? Whoa. That's crazy. Whoa. Wacky. Called an advanced YouTubing technique. with the power of King Crimson. I can delete time. I simply create a period of 10 seconds during which only I could move. The rest of you will yeah, fucking however the fuck King Crimson works. Yeah, what a strange occurrence. My Wi-Fi went down. Yeah. I can't believe I was here for the Vosh season 13 time reset. The writers really wrote themselves into a corner this time. There's always the classic out. That's right. Zalworldo. Oh my god. What happened? I was watching tier list, you fuck. That sounds like a personal problem. We ready to get started again? Hey, Kings and Generals, what's up? Kings and Generals, you've got to make a side account sometime. I know you pop in casually and all, but... Excuse me. I'd hate to miss you. Is that a fat fuck? Ooh. Artemy, tell everyone who had stinky cat sand pee feet earlier. Who had cat sand stuck to their feet from pee? Would you like to share with the class? Ooh. Look at this boy. Look at him. Ooh. Look at him, he's so well behaved. He likes being held? Yeah, he does. If I did that to my cat, she ripped my face off. Artemy is absurdly agreeable. He's not usually this well behaved. He's probably happy because Vermin is back home. Have you been watching Chainsaw Man? The OP fucking slaps. Yeah, I have been. Yeah. Anime spoilers for Chainsaw Man, since I'll talk about it for a minute now. Up to episode 4 is how many are released. Not manga spoilers. I think, I think there's something interesting going on with, hold on. There's something really interesting about the gender politics in Chainsaw Man that I like. I don't think it's not problematic at all. There are elements of it that I think warrant some criticism, but there are a couple of things that I think are pretty like here's an example. and this is really, really unique for this kind of manga slash anime. All of the fucking girls in Chainsaw Man dress like normal people, which is interesting because it's largely, I mean, it's largely a story about an incredibly horny feral boy who desperately wants hot chicks. I mean, but they dress like normal people, right? Which is kind of interesting because normally if you watch, are they 18 plus? Makima is definitely 18 plus. Don't you worry about that. Um, and Power as well, who I guess like when she dresses cute, she dresses cute the way like human girls dress, despite not being human. So that's nice, you know. Um, yeah. But you guys know what I'm talking about, right? Normally in like a battle shonen series, if they wanted to have like a cute girl, they would be dressed in some kind of like ridiculous, stupid, revealing outfit or whatever. But they all, you know, they all dress like normal people, which is pretty dope. This is somebody else's drawing, but this is how Power looks. I mean, she just like shirt, tie, jacket. Like great, you know? It's honestly refreshing. I mean, compared to like if I just Google anime waifu, let me just commit a crime really quick. There's something about the way that so many chicks in anime look that's incredibly off-putting to me as an adult man, you know? Like you don't have to go very far when browsing anime to find it's like this. This is what I mean. You guys know what I mean? If I'm watching a show or whatever, and it's like, oh, here's the chick that the guy is into, I'm like, okay. Because nobody's like this. Nobody's like this. It's just it's a weird wish fulfillment thing. It just takes me out of it. It's not this show. I don't know what show this is. I just Googled anime waifu and found an impractical outfit. Not like this is the only one there, you know. If you Google anime waifu, all you get is impractical outfits. Or you get people wearing real outfits that are still drawn in a way that just screams like anime bullshit to me, like this. Leaving aside the fact that she's in a fucking high school classroom, so thanks for that. Anime waifu. Anyway, you get what I mean with this being like very different from how the girls in Chainsaw Man are dressed, right? I mean, like, look, fucking Makima. Look, she's just wearing clothes. Cool. But moreover, it's like, okay, for anyone who's watched I'm just spoiling the anime here. So 4 episodes are out of the anime. For any of you who have seen the anime, you might have noticed that so far, Denji, that's the main guy. Can we get Denji on the screen? Let's get little Denji here. Hold on. The main guy, Denji, pictured here, the most feral human in existence. His main sort of like shonen power-up battle move at the moment seems to be getting the shit kicked out of him, and then he's reminded that big squishy boobies exist, and then he screams out loud that he's remembered that, and then he gets stronger and charges. And that seems to be like his primary, you know, yeah, just like me, for real. Yeah, exactly. A wonderful and realistic attitude to have towards combat. One thing that I like though, okay, let me get serious for a second, because I've watched so much anime that a lot of these tropes, I feel like they're self-evident to me, but maybe not to everyone. Okay, in a lot of anime, there will be the pervert character, sometimes multiple, but almost always at least one. It'll be a guy, and their primary personality trait is that they really like hot chicks, okay? And they want to fuck them, all right? And that's like their main trait. Now, there are a couple of issues with this character. I want to be clear, by the way. I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with that being a character trait, like being horny. I don't think there's anything like narratively or morally wrong with that. But there are a couple of things that usually bug me. One of them is that their horny behavior is usually framed as like some element of desirable masculinity. Or like, how do I put this? It's framed as like a boys will be boys kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like a good example, the dad from Soul Eater would be a good example of that. The little fucking brat diaper bitch baby from My Hero Academia, where it's like, even if they're pervy and people give them shit for it, it's more like, you know, ah, well, guys are gonna be like that kind of thing. I never like that. That's always really weird. I'm not keen on that. Um, and also they tend to be pretty rapey because you can be pervy without being rapey, right? Like in your head, you can just be constantly thinking of big, fat, squishy titties, and outwardly you can be like a normal person. That's fine, you know. But if you're constantly like creeping on other people, you know. The thing that I like about Denji is despite the fact that he's incredibly violent, has no social skills, and has like an IQ of 4, he's actually not rapey at all. Like at all, really. He's kind of weird about it, but the weirdness is framed as a consequence of his social ineptitude more so than anything. He's not really like I guess to put it another way, I can imagine in another story, Denji would like either in an acknowledged or unacknowledged way, like think about raping somebody because he's an incredibly physically strong uh young guy with a death wish, and he's also incredibly horny. And I feel like in so many other stories, the writer would be like, "Oh, well, haha, of course he likes hot chicks, you know?" And like and he would be like really weird about it because I've seen that so many times in other stories. But he's not at all. He's, you know, I think genuinely quite respectful, you know, at least as much as he can be given who he is. You know what I mean? Do you understand what I'm talking about? You get what I mean, right? It's like I like if I told like okay, let me describe a character to you, okay? This is a feral young man who's incredibly horny, has no social skills. He's incredibly physically strong, has a death wish, and is borderline unkillable. And all he thinks about is wanting to fuck chicks. How do you think this character behaves around women? If you didn't know I was referring to Denji, you would probably immediately think, "Oh God, oh fuck, oh god, oh god, oh no, oh boy, oh geez." But you know, with him that doesn't, you know, the worst connotations don't manifest, which again I think is quite nice. Um, Not to mention the fact that his social ineptitude is something that a lot of attention is called to. You know what I mean? Rather than being seen as like I guess I can just imagine a more immature writer writing Denji as somebody who cuts through all the bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, he's lived a rough life and he's not educated formally, sure, but he's got street smarts, and that means that he's, you know, he'll have like quips. He'll see through other people's stupid petty bullshit. He'll like dismantle people psychologically by seeing things for how they are and seeing people for who they are. Which has always been like a really stupid, immature 14-year-old like, yeah, I would totally be Light from Death Note if only the world would give me the chance kind of attitude. But in reality, Denji is a retard. His main personality trait is being incredibly stupid, and that's so much better. It's so much better because in reality, people who are like Denji in real life, like very little formal education, barely surviving day to day, no social skills, no human contact, are usually just fucking like weirdo autists more than anything, which he is, which is great. I really like Chainsaw Man. I like it a lot, you know? Not to mention, I really wish I could I don't know if I can show this. Hold on. I don't know if I can show this, but in Chainsaw Man, there's a scene in the manga and in the anime because it's an adaptation where Power, the character Power, that's this one, is naked because she's literally a feral animal, and they don't sexualize her in it. I didn't actually think it was possible for an anime to do that, but they actually have multiple shots of a naked chick, and she just looks like a feral animal. They don't draw her at all. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Can I show this? What's a thing that I can show? I can show this, right? I can show this. Yeah, that's fine. Like that. She just looks like a feral animal the whole time. I've seen more lewd stuff than that on YouTube. That's fine. Again, just a remarkable amount of restraint in a medium that is normally dominated by like terrible, terrible, terrible behavior. Yeah. Anyway, I'm done with that little tangent. I'm just watching the anime now, and I'm being reminded of the fact that it's impressively good gender politics, considering the kind of material that's on display. All right, moving on. Politics. Sorry. What is this? Thoughts on Rogan saying he would rather burn tires and boil the ocean than accept people gluing old paintings? What? What is this? Climate activists glue hands to Goya paintings in Spain's Prado Museum. And Joe Rogan responds, this trend is so stupid and it makes me want to burn tires and boil the ocean. Oh, okay. While I disagree with him here, that's not him literally saying that. What is this? What is with these Twitter clips being insanely quiet lately? What is with that?
So the way I think about it is that, so I'm trusting you with the future of our country, of the world, actually, when you're in charge of a media like that. So how do you prevent, so being Jewish, how do you prevent this anti-Semitism? Or if I were black, how do you prevent all of the...
Why is it so quiet?
So how do you prevent the use of the N-word? We should be able to figure out with software how to moderate this and prevent that from happening. Is that true or not?
Yeah, yes, absolutely. Totally agree. Temporarily, people have been able to put some hate speech on Twitter, but then it's been taken down immediately. So now, part of what I'm trying to achieve with this sort of enabling everyone to be payment verified with Twitter Blue is to try to get as many people payment verified as possible. It's only $8 a month, although for some people
that is so... Wait, hold on. Right off the bat, this is an incredibly stupid thing to say. Are you kidding me? The first thing he opens with when trying to sell his thing... So first of all, he basically just ignores the question from the interviewer, and then he opens with, yeah, we basically just want as many people as possible to buy the subscription. It's only $8 a month. It was a free service before, but we basically want everyone to just pay us money.
Complaining about that, and these are people who pay more than that for their latte.
I'm going to be one of your Twitter Blue customers.
Thank you. But like
oh, there was a cut in the video? Oh, yeah, there was a cut in the video. That's right. He could have answered the first part.
It's part of its revenue, part of it is payment authentication. And so if somebody, because there is a huge problem with spam and bots and trolls on Twitter and organizations trying to manipulate public opinion. But if we can get enough verified users, and we're going to prioritize Twitter search, replies, mentions, by verified users first. And yeah, this is very, if you're payment verified with blue checkmark, then you're prioritized and hateful conduct pays. But if somebody risks losing even $8, the net effect will be over time that the verified users will pretty much always be at the top of comments and search.
So he's literally saying, like, if you don't pay $8 a month, you're not even showing up in the searches. Like, free speech, guys. But this is literally immediately going to be the most pay-to-win social media service in the history of major social media platforms. Immediately. Well, yeah, for a billionaire, the ability to spend money is your free speech, so... Are you busy today? Shark did a great debate, but it's 3 hours. Comcast.
When researchers have looked into and what they seem...
Absolutely not. You're insane. You madman. Oh yeah, lest we forget the Canadians. Strike or political protest. Ontario takes education workers' union to Labour Board amid Friday walkout. Thousands of coop. That's how Canadians say cope. Members hit picket lines Friday and first day of indefinite job action. Thousands of Ontario education workers hit picket lines Friday in the first day of an indefinite walkout that has closed schools across the province after the government passed controversial legislation that imposed a contract and rendered any strike action illegal. Hey, Hey, didn't somebody recently have a big argument with his community about whether or not the Canadian government would be willing to abuse its federal privileges to attack people for perceived threats to the state, which initially might have been truckers moving blockades, but might eventually extend to workers who are doing strikes on account of the fact that Trudeau has previously signed legislation to try to force striking workers back to work, and there's possibility that they might weaponize this against people in the future who are trying. No, not a chance of that. This is local government, not Trudeau. Yeah, that's true. It's not Trudeau himself. That being said, an indication of where this stuff leads, right? No, I know this isn't the Emergencies Act, but like, you know, the Canadian government is ridiculously strike-breaky. It's state versus federal powers. Guys, it's still the same. Okay. Hey, remember, this is provincial government at their Wait, do you guys think... Oh, no. You guys think that's an own, you fucking Canucks? Dude, when you warned that the federal government was going to abuse its privileges to attack striking workers by defining them as enemies of the public interest, this is different. This is the state attacking striking workers by defining them as... What the fuck are you guys going on about? Oh, my God. Why are Canadians so defensive? Holy shit. Like, Canadians' entire personalities are like, at least we're not America. So every time they do something bad and American criticizes them, they clam up. Fuck. Okay. School board workers represented by the Canadian Union of Public Employees, COOP, were protesting at politicians' offices, including hundreds of members outside Queen's Park and the Education Minister's constituency office in Vaughan, Ontario, members of the other union. On Thursday, the Progressive Conservative Government enacted the Progressive Conservative Government, I love your names, enacted Bill 28, a law that imposed contracts on 55,000 COOP members and banned them from striking. The law also uses the notwithstanding clause to protect against constitutional challenges, a legal mechanism that has only been used twice in Ontario's history, both times by the governments of Premier Doug Ford. Cool. I like how you guys have a, by the way, you can't use the Constitution to challenge this one law. That's great. I like that. COOP says the law is an attack on all workers' bargaining rights and is staging a walkout anyway, warning it will last until the government repeals the bill. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau called the Ford government's legislation an attack on one of the most basic rights available, that of collective bargaining. Oh, really, Trudeau? Really, Trudeau? Oh, you have a problem with forcing workers out of strikes. Is that true, Trudeau? Trudeau minister moves to ban. Let's see. What was the name of that gigantic strike that he ended? I'm just seeing stuff on this. Trucker strike? No, not that. Trudeau forces Montreal dock workers to end strike. This was one of them, but there was another one. There was a much larger one than this, right? The Freedom Strike? No, not the convoy. It was the convoy? No, not the... Oh, postal workers. That's right. Yes, I remember. Trudeau government introduces back-to-work legislation to end Canada Post strike. I remember that. 50,000 employees. Because it's like, oh yeah, actually striking workers are a threat against the state or whatever. Bosch, the Nazi who attacked Paul Pelosi, was an illegal Canadian immigrant. Dope. Sorry, but isn't it inconsistent that you're against what Canada is doing because it might target leftists, but you support the stuff she was complaining about? No. Okay. With respect, think about the actual things we're talking about, okay? In all instances, an institution will have the power to dictate the rules and guidelines of the systems that it has control over. This is inevitable. I think those rules should be curtailed to do the best possible. I support, in terms of service bans, the ban of people who are shitters. I support shitter bans. That's my TOS proposal, okay? Nowhere does that mean I have to be in support of the government introducing legislation that allows them to circumvent constitutional law to end strikes. I am firmly against that. There's nuance here. The issue that bothers me is that a lot of people, by flattening all nuance, all discussions turn into, well, you're in favor of this one thing, well, then why aren't you in favor of this other totally different thing, you know? And that's every conversation. It's always like the hypocrisy thing. There's no relationship between these things. And just because I support the ability for websites to have a terms of service does not mean I have to support the ability for the government to privately fucking freeze people's bank assets if they're deemed a threat to the state. I don't have to support that. What about the slippery slope argument? You mean the slippery slope fallacy? It's called the fallacy because it's fallacious. I love you guys. I hope you know that. Chat's being too nice to me right now. Something's up. All right, anyway. If they take away all rights as union, every other union's next. They're not going to stop with us. Yep, that's true. It's not always a fallacy. It depends on the evidence. Yes, it does depend on the evidence, of course. But generally, it's used in a fallacious manner. The idea that if we enable one thing, we must enable, like, the next. Very rarely have I seen that used, like, correctly. My arguments usually haven't been slippery slope arguments. They're just, like, the same slope. You know what I mean? So, like, the government privately freezing the bank assets of the Freedom Convoy people because they're considered a threat to the state, it's not a slippery slope to say they'll do that to striking workers. It's the same flat plane. Because the state has previously described striking workers as a threat to the national interest. So if they're saying, now, because the Freedom Convoy people are a threat to the national interest, we can privately freeze their bank assets. If I was to say they will do this to striking workers as well, that's not a slippery slope. It's the same logic that they've used. It's the exact same argument. Bill 28 sets out fines for violating a prohibition on strikes for the life of the agreement of up to $4,000 per employee per day. This is insane. $4,000 fine per employee per day, while there are up to fines of $500,000 for the union. This is just punitive. Like, this will bankrupt anyone in any length of time. Who the fuck can afford $4,000 per day? This is just the government making striking illegal. The union gets fined? Oh, these aren't fines directly to the employee. They're all to the union? Well, this will bankrupt any union in, like, no time at all, then. Unions don't just casually have hundreds of thousands of dollars on cash on the back end, usually. I'm a coup organizer in British Columbia. This news is really scary for labor across Canada. This isn't just an Ontario thing. Yeah. Yeah, Canada has been really comfortable with the strike breaking lately. They're going to get the Punkertons up there or something. The biggest way to combat this would be to do a general strike. Well, yeah, a general strike would be an ideal way of fighting this. It's just difficult to... How did they deal with this in the Gilded Age? Just die? Well, back in the Gilded Age, when workers would strike, they would usually physically take over a facility with men with guns, and they would run it as like a base until eventually the government gave in to their demands, or something like that. Also, living was a lot cheaper back then, because a lot of these like workers lived in tenements, and they just had to get their food for the day. So, yeah. Also, they would fight and die sometimes. Yeah, the government would just send cops to kill you. What happened to make these unions less violent? Well, we mostly just, like, all turned into giant pussies is the problem. Back in the day, like, unions that striked were thought of as, like, heroes, basically, because they were seen as, like, envoys of the working class's interest. Nowadays, if you heard that a union took over a port and, like, was guarding it with guns, everyone would assume they're terrorists and think they're fucking crazy. We've just gotten a lot softer, and thanks to mass media and the manipulation of public opinion, people are, like, innately keyed against workers' rights. Like, hey, look at you fucking idiots. We were looking at those Just Stop Oil protests where they blocked a road for a little bit, and there were people in chat unironically saying, like, why are they blocking roads, inconveniencing people? There were people in my fucking community who were like, wow, I like protesting and all, but I draw the line at mildly inconveniencing working people. You know, like, so yeah, fuck. Like, yeah. People had the most lib response to this shit. Yeah, well, unfortunately, I do have a lot of liberals who follow me. I wish they would become leftists. You know, hopefully they can like look inward and evaluate the fact that they're making the exact same. I'm not saying I'm against civil rights, but arguments that anti-civil rights protesters had back in the 1960s. You do kind of hide your power level? I don't think I do, really. I'm pretty clear about being a socialist. You do? Okay, fine, I do. I remember 2017, Vosh. I wasn't streaming in 2017. It's probably because you don't talk about socialism a lot. I think I'm pretty clear about my opinions, but whatever. Are U.S. socialists still marked as terrorists by the U.S. government? No. The government originally offered raises of 2% a year for workers making less than 40,000 and 1.25% for all others. Jesus Christ. 2% per year. What's inflation in Canada? 2% per year. The current Canadian rate of inflation is 6.9%. Nice. That's not even a third of the inflation rate for that year. We're getting poorer every year. Yeah, that's not an offer, that's an insult. But List said the new imposed 4-year deal would give 2.5% annual raises to workers making less than 43,000 and 1.5% for all others. Insane. Is that a fat boy?
He's biting me.
Pardon me. Mad.
He loves it. People are gonna say you're being abusive. I can't wait.
Wah!
He's funny. This is ASMR.
Yes.
No.
Got him. Eat, eat, eat. What's next?
But he loves it.
Ooh. Look at this.
It's a massage. I can hear him purring.
Yeah, I know the mic can't pick it up, but I can hear him purring. Berman can hear him purring.
He's so loud.
All right, I gotta sit there now.
You put him there. I meant put him on the back, like, headrest. He's gonna get mad.
He's gonna bite me.
Oh?
Oh no? Ooh, calm boy.
Yeah, he sat on the back of mine forever. Some fun.
There we go. What? There. Oh, if nothing else, you made a cat happy today? Yeah. Here, wait. One more. Whack. Artemis. All right. There's this fat cat ass right next to me. Such a good boy. Okay. Are we good? Are we alive? Monkeypox mutations cause virus to spread rapidly. Oh, God. That's another time. Oh, my God. It's always something. Biden said soon we're going to free Iran. What does that mean? Is it time, lads? We go into war?
That a lot of our soldiers, more people are coming back from Iraq, Afghanistan, with serious brain injuries and tumors than any other war in American history. Other than the Civil War, more amputees are coming back than in any wars in American history. And those burn pits, don't worry, we're going to free Iran. They're going to free themselves pretty soon.
What? What was the relationship there between the burn pits and freeing Iran? This doesn't mean anything. Biden vows to free Iran and West Coast camp. This doesn't mean it. He's just, it's, yeah. Brandon words, you know, Brandon. Max Blumenthal playing into Yee's rhetoric. We white American Jews are living through a golden age of power, affluence, and safety. Wow! What a fantastic way. Oh, what an opener right there. Acceptance of this welcome reality threatens the entire Zionist enterprise. Holy shit! Threatens this entire Zionist enterprise from lobby fronts like the ADL to the State of Israel because Zionism relies on Jewish insecurity to justify himself. Wow, he's literally just saying us Jews are powerful, affluent, and in control, and everyone lies about it to protect Zionism. Wow. Kyrie and Kanye do not threaten American Jews in any concrete way. Zionist pressure groups like the ADL know this, but must seek out any opportunity to justify their own existence by conjuring the specter of existential doom. Jewish paranoia and black humiliation result. This is literally just neo-Nazi rhetoric. Yeah. I think this is some kind of self-hating Jew record. No, it's just neo-Nazism. I mean, again, it's like a gray zone guy, so that's not surprising at all. This is literally like, hey guys, as a Jewish person, yeah, we're very powerful. And people, you know, truth tellers, like these guys who have been denying the Holocaust and threatening Jewish people, don't actually threaten Jews. The Zionist pressure groups know this, which is why they lie. Like, This is literally the neo-Nazi talking point, that Jewish-controlled Zionist organizations lie about the threat Jewish people face from anti-Semitism as a way of like attracting sympathy and like avoiding critique of the, you know, the JQ, essentially. Yeah. Did you see Nike dropped Kyrie Irving? Oh wow. Nike suspends relationship with Kyrie Irving. Yeah. Pretty wild stuff. Maybe my man shouldn't have like promoted a Holocaust denying film.
This when asked about the situation surrounding his former teammate Kyrie Irving.
Me personally, I don't condone any hate to any kind, to any race, to Jewish communities, to black communities, to Asian communities. You guys know where I stand, and it's part of the reason why I didn't air the Shop episode, why we kicked that, you know, out of the archives, because it was hate conversation going on there, and I don't represent that. You know, there's no place in this world for it. Nobody can benefit from that, and I believe you know what Kyrie did.
Why are you guys waiting on the butt? This isn't Kyrie. Do you just think because you're seeing a black guy, this is Kyrie, so he's going to follow it up? There's no but. He's condemning him. Wow, you guys are unironically being pretty fucking racist right now. He said Kyrie multiple times in this. He's not referring to himself. He doesn't even look like Kyrie.
Some harm to a lot of people.
Isn't that LeBron James?
He has since, over the last, I think, today, or was it yesterday, he apologized. But he caused some harm. And
I recognize him.
I think it's unfortunate, but I don't.
My favorite movie,
I don't stand
Space Jam
on
2.
The position to harm people when it comes to your voice or your platform or anything. And so it doesn't matter what color your skin is, how tall you are, what position you are in. If you are promoting or soliciting or saying harmful things to any community that harm people, then I don't respect it. I don't condone it.
Apparently, this is the second most lucrative Nike deal outside of the one with LeBron. That's pretty wild. Wait, what is this? Who is KJ Wright 34? Kyrie shouldn't be allowed to play another game. Anti-Semitism has no place in society. Truly disgusting. Any kind of racism should not be tolerated by any sports league. Maybe y'all should try a new blanket to pull over America's eyes. I'm not falling for this BS. Jews loving that power structure right now. Do you understand how upsetting this is to read as a Jewish person who knows none of this is true? And then this person, Adam, some people have been taught the complete opposite of you. What do we say about what they've been taught? Say it's wrong? Adam, some people have been taught the Jewish question. What are we just going to tell them? That the Nazis were wrong? There are people who believe Nazism. You just want to tell them that they're incorrect here? KJ Wright? KJ Wright's an NFL player? Man, I'm telling you guys, I went over this, and I'm going to keep going over this, man. There's a big fucking problem with black athletes who are basically just doing, like, Nazi shit. Like, seriously, there's like a fucking, yeah. Money corrupts? It's not really a money corrupts thing. I don't think. It's just like, it has to do more so with other factors, I think. Sports optimizes for machismo and brain damage? That's true. Are black people just more racist on average? No. I've said it before, there are lots of white people in power who are covertly like fascists or neo-Nazis. The problem is that societally speaking, like up until recently, I guess, it was understood that if you're a white person who's talking about like Jews controlling America, you would lose everything really quickly. But we don't have those connotations for black people because black people, you know, are not generally associated with Nazis outside being victims of them. So a lot of black people just kind of like quietly believe in this shit. Like, remember the Nick Cannon stuff? I remember the Nick Cannon stuff. Remember when I talked about how Dr. Umar is like weirdly popular in the in online black communities, despite him basically just being a black neo-Nazi? Did you see the slavery and Holocaust discourse from that one lady who said slavery was more severe than the Holocaust because it started in like the 1500s? Yeah, a common tactic of black Hebrew Israelite types is they'll say like, and what are they even complaining about? Holocaust? Our slavery killed hundreds of millions or whatever. Dr. Umar's been taking advantage of the situation by shaming anyone critical of Kyrie. Well, yeah, I mean, they're all Blitler. Is Umar on Twitter? Nah, just no context, Dr. Umar, right? What the fuck is this? I agree, but Black Twitter's been pretty bad about condemning this stuff. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. I'm pulling the fucking card here, man. I think that the black community has done a really bad job of purging this shit from its midst. You know, because like to some extent, unfortunately, it's really difficult for white people to do that because it just racist white people will only criticize black people in ways that are racist. And liberal white people are uncomfortable criticizing black people because they're cuckolds. So unfortunately, there's a very limited margin of people who can offer like legitimate criticisms and stuff like Black Hebrew Israelite ideology. Um, you know? I mean, look at the shit I keep seeing, right? Professor Flowers and the people who defend her. Who was that guy who argued with Shark, who was saying that like there was a conspiracy to eliminate all black people by having interracial sex with them or something? Like, there's some weird shit. Endless Cemetery? Yeah. Is this somewhere?
Let me say this. I am a firm supporter and advocate of bringing back the whipping post from slavery. Listen to me, brothers and sisters. Listen to me, brothers and sisters. Mm-hmm. This is King Kong consciousness. I believe we should bring back the whipping post from slavery. I need some of my brothers to go into the old museums and get the whipping posts out. That's right. Or we can make some new whipping posts.
Wait.
That's right. 500 lashes for conduct unbecoming a black man. Stephen A. Smith, I sentence you to 4,000 lashes for conduct unbecoming a black man.
I think that would kill you.
For conduct unbecoming a black man and saying that no black woman can make you happy. 10,000 lashes. Bring back a community without consequences. Will never be a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Incorporated. Shannon want to be a slave. If Jalen want to be a slave. If Broussard and Rob want to be slaves. If Stephen A. and Richard Jefferson. I just been suspended from TikTok for going live.
I don't. When America falls to fascism, will black and white races share the power or will they fight each other too? People like Kanye will be useful idiots up until the very end, until they no longer are. That's how it always works, right? That's what happened with the Night of Long Knives, the Germans. The fascists are all on board with everyone's support up until they no longer need them, at which point they get offed as well. Though Kanye is so wealthy that he might be able to, circumvent that no matter what. FD Signifier has like one post on Kyrie. Okay. I don't expect that because you're black, you have to have like a sufficient number of posts. What the fuck is this? All I'm saying is technically you don't know this is false. Your field of view and densely packed blitlers. This is true. You don't actually know this is false. What the fuck is this image? It's impossible to know. What is this? Oh, FD signified the video. Oh, signified B-sides. Oh, this is like his off channel. Sure, we can look at this.
Trying to recruit? Is there a black conservative movement on like YouTube and the manosphere? Was so fucking Kanye West.
I could say anti-Semitic things and Adidas can't drop me.
The now infamous White Lives Matter t-shirts Ye debuted at Paris Fashion Week earlier this month.
Come get me. That's fucking retarded. I watched the George Floyd documentary that Candace Owens put up. They hit him with the fentanyl.
When I wake up, I'm going DEFCON 3 on Jewish people.
I was contemplating whether or not to do a third Kanye video, but like, I can't imagine making a real full-on video just about Kanye's fuckery. Because one, it's well documented. There's not a lot of like analysis to do. There's no research to do. You know what I'm saying? It's just an ongoing downward spiral. And I really just don't have much else to say except for like, fuck Kanye. Fuck Kanye. Like two different inflections of fuck Kanye. Fuck Kanye.
I can't believe he's dead naming. Does this mean I can say Kanye instead of saying Ye?
And fuck Kanye. Because it hurts. It's disappointing. Y'all know how I feel. This is one of my favorite rappers. This is one of my favorite figures of my early adulthood. And I don't feel like I ever defended Kanye. Like, I hope that was like what came across. It's hard to say. What I was trying to defend is why people still had hope for Kanye.
Why shit. I might want to see that video more. See if there's any sussy shit. Oh, the other one might have been from a while ago. I don't fucking know.
Are they trying to recruit? Is there a black conservative movement on like YouTube and the manosphere? Was Kevin Samuels a black conservative? Are they always trying to recruit? Yes. And there will always be a handful of folks that are wired for authoritarianism, that have some internal issues. Maybe it's around their masculinity or femininity. They really aspire to whiteness. They got some internal racism issues. I'll give you that. But the numbers are never gonna really switch. As long as Republicans are openly racist, most black people are gonna be like, hey, y'all are openly racist, so no. Candace Owens is about the bag. All these other black conservatives are about the bag. And they say and do the things they do because it brings them the bag. This is not really a political issue because what are conservative Republican politics? They don't have policies. They don't have ideas. The Democrats don't have great policies or ideas either, but like at least they run on issues. The Republicans just run on, right now the Republican platform is, spitting out my food, getting excited. The Republican platform right now is trans sports, trans kids, and the budget. That's it. And critical race theory. Those are not real issues to most Americans, but they are things that bring the bag. They're things that hype up their voter base who is authoritarian and just, wants to control shit. So no, I don't like Candace Owens is hyping Kanye up to gas that nigga so he buys Parler. Like that is the most like, if he really buys Parler, so for those who don't know, First off, Candace Owens is married to the man that owns Parler. And Parler is one of the many free speech apps that popped up in the last couple of years from Republicans that we're supposed to be so afraid of because they're going to grow radicalism, etc. So we shouldn't deplatform people. They are probably growing radical. Let me be fair. They're probably growing radicalism, but it doesn't mean we shouldn't deplatform people because it's small over there. And all of them are losing money. They're all failing. And so Candace Owens, it seems, got Kanye to buy Parler from her husband to bail this motherfucker out. CEO, not owner. I don't know. I don't know what the situation is. All I know, it's good for Candace Owens and her husband if Kanye buys that shit because it's still going to flop. But yeah, the black Republicans are not, this is not a real thing. Instark says a video
Well, okay, so... Okay, a couple of things. First of all, even if black Republicans aren't a thing yet, keep in mind that voter turnout is highest for white people and lower for people of color. That's, oh, the formatting on this is... Why did it highlight before and then... Whatever, this is the black people. Even if you can't get black people to vote Republican, you can still get them disillusioned enough to not vote, which is also an issue. Also, black people can vote Republican. It's not impossible, right? Like, keep in mind that there was an upswing in the number of Latin people who voted for Trump in 2020, which is weird because Republicans are incredibly fucking racist, but, stuff like that can happen. Additionally, and I think most importantly, people like Kanye act as shields for the Republican Party. They're ways of fronting radical far-right ideology, but because it's not a white person doing it, it's like it's like a way to front and test the waters. Like Kanye promoting essentially like neo-Nazism very publicly. He's shielded from criticism in part because he's black, and the Republican Party can kind of like sort of endorse him without fully committing to it. The useful idiot type deal, except in this case, Kanye isn't really being an idiot. Like, if that is his political prerogative, then he's certainly putting it forward, They're, yeah, it's a thing.
Not necessarily Kanye and Candace, but how the higher you go, the more excuses for the exploitative capital class seem to become your ideology, aka allow Jay-Z's recent comments as well. Yeah. The black capitalism, that was one of the things I was trying to lead into with the Obama video. Is that like when
Has Kanye really been shielded from criticism? To an extent, yes. A black man pushing neo-Nazi conspiracy theories is not going to be hit as hard as a white man doing the same. Sorry, I fully stand by that. Yeah.
You're weaned on this black excellence mythology, when that's like something that's drilled into you as a kid, and it makes sense because you get out in the world and you see how white institutions, like the one thing Jay-Z was right about is that white institutions were trying to stop him at every turn until he got enough clout and money to do it all himself. Same thing for Kanye. White institutions were barring him from the places he wanted entry into. Kanye, unfortunately, like Charlemagne the God said something I thought was very pointed, which is that he's never met anyone more hard up for the approval of whiteness than Kanye. That Kanye truly lives and dies by the approval of white audiences and white people. And like, if you go back to through Kanye's career, you can kind of see nuggets of that. Like even the switch between College Dropout and Late Registration, the way Kanye talked about hip hop was a little, it was giving some Post Malone vibes.
All right, we're away from the stuff that I normally think about. Let's get back to my field of interest.
Oh boy, great news. Oh boy, it has just been revealed. Big news, big news. Oh boy, here's a video of it. This is what oh boy, this is it, guys. Big news. Donald Trump, it has just been revealed. Oh, here's a video of, oh boy, Republicans are free. Oh man, here, big news and big news. It has just been revealed. Big news, more big news. Oh boy. revealed. Oh boy. So Donald Trump, big news. So Donald Trump, big news. Oh boy, big news. This is crazy. Fox News. Oh boy, great news. Oh.
I fucking love this guy so much. I love him so much. He's so committed to the bit. I love listening to him. This should be like my wake-up alarm, man. This would get me so gassed up every morning, waking up to hearing this, like, screaming in my ear. That'd be fucking amazing. Holy shit. Oh, boy! Like that, you know, just really loud, like, deafeningly loud. Oh, God. Hmm. Oh, my God. Look at this big turtle. Friend, look at this while I pee. Then we'll get back to politics. I don't believe you. It works. It does. It's true. All right. Get this out of here. Get this shit out of here. Oh, God. Oh, yeah, you can do that, can't you, Tempest? Did you see that Drake posted hentai on his Instagram story? Yeah, I saw. Yeah, guys, you know, the past, you know, couple streams, to be honest with you, I feel like I'm just getting ready for the calm before the storm. You know what I mean? We're 3 days out, guys. We're 3 days out from the election, you know? I mean, obviously on the 8th and subsequent days, I'm just going to be fucking sitting here, you know, but we're just going to be streaming the whole fucking day for multiple days, just going to cover everything we can. You guys need to go out there and vote, obviously. Oh, and by the way, lest you thought we were going to let you get away with this, okay? Let me read out loud a little message. Oh, wait, did they delete that message? Oh my God, they deleted it. Never mind. Well, the gist of the message was that you guys need to go and sign up at vosh.gg/map. You know why? Because they're trying to fill volunteer slots for the Get Out the Vote campaign, for the final wave. When I saw the message last night, it said they only needed 250 more volunteer slots filled. They've already gotten 1,750. But now the message is gone, which makes me think they actually met the goal, but I won't assume that. You know, you guys should sign up. You ever seen this many blue dots in your entire life? Really, think about it for a second. You ever seen this many blue dots? No, you haven't. This is more blue dots than you've ever seen your whole goddamn life, okay? Get on out there. Wait, is stream almost over? No? It's fine. It's all good. Vosh, it doesn't look like this is paying off. Voter turnout's extremely poor across the country. First of all, it's not even voting day yet. Calm down. Second of all, that would mean that our efforts are proportionally higher. And third of all, shut up. I don't think there was any relationship between the number of fingers that I held out and what I was saying. Keep in mind that voter turnout is going to be lower this year than it was last election because it's midterms. People always turn out more for presidential elections. Vosh, record early voting. Wait, who was the person who said that? Rodzilla 2K? Rodzilla, what the fuck are you talking about? Early vote totals point towards record-breaking turnout for midterm elections. Midterm turnout reached a 40-year high in 2018 at 49% of the total voting age population. Early voting total suggests the number could be even higher. We might break a record. What are you talking about, Rodzilla? Rodzilla. Lefty misinfo. Wow. Okay, I lied, but my state is poor. Sneaky, sneaky behavior, Rodzilla 2K. Okay, I lied. 5:38. House forecast. Ugh. That's what I like to not see. You guys ready for the 263 Republican House seats? Yeah, don't trust the polls. Don't trust the polls. Fake news. We look at the light, and then we don't look at that either because it's still bad. Don't look at that, okay? Do Dems have a chance of winning Alabama? Oh, they're going to sweep in Alabama, yeah. I saw Bill Maher win full on Doomer mode in between transphobic and anti-Zoomer jokes that didn't land. Bill Maher lost the plot a long time ago. Oh, sorry, wait, this is the light model. No, still close to a toss-up. The polls once showed Hillary winning the national. Yeah, well, keep in mind, she did win the popular vote by millions. Also, like, if a poll says it's a 70-30 chance, that doesn't mean the 30 can't happen. Let's see if we can find some articles. When will we know the 2022 midterm election results? The Case for a Democratic Surprise on Election Night by Nate Silver. Guys, are you ready to huff illegal amounts of copium? Everyone check to make sure your parents aren't around because it's going to take you hours to come down from the high. Oh no, not Nate Silver. I want to be clear, by the way. I don't, in terms of his ability to analyze polls, Nate Silver is one of the best in the country. You know, Nate Silver's a goofy goofball at times, but you have to understand that political polling is an insanely difficult, arbitrary, and sometimes unfalsifiable job. He's a meme lord for sure. But you know, Nate Silver is a very talented guy. Earlier this week, I spoke with a friend, actually a fragment of my alter ego. Oh wait, is he doing a shower conversation? Today you'll meet Nathaniel Blue, another figment of my imagination who I spoke with at a wine bar in Cobble Hill. Oh my god, he's so weird. He's such a weird guy. Nate Silver is literally the most reputable and popular pollster in the country. And he's like, okay, so here's my imaginary friend. Oh my god. Oh, he's having like full on. Oh, wait, I can't read this. Literally schizo posting. Yeah. It's a peek into my fractured mind. I can't read. I respect it, but I can't read it. This is the opposite of hopium. I'm not reading it. Read it? No, I'm not reading 2 parts of a fake conversation. That is not a format that I endorse. You know, you know, for my engagement at least. Ugh, God. You read Plato though? I have not read Plato. What is this? What's Tulsi up to?
Join me now in welcoming your next U.S. Senator, Herschel Walker. Join me now.
Oh, yeah. That's it? Just, yeah. She's a Republican. Big news, the world is trash. The sky over New York tonight, a feat by our team. It's one thing to get some drones, but another to coordinate with the FAA and the many other local and national regulators to get all the permits and follow all the protocols and look out for wildlife and the environment. And the consequence of all of this is a Candy Crush ad done with drones over the New York sky. Thank you. That's great. Thanks. Fucking Candy Crush. What scares me is the military applications for this. For nighttime Candy Crush For what? What could this do? Blade Runner shit? Yeah, I think it's notable. The thing that cyberpunk dystopias like Blade Runner can't capture is the banality of human alienation. In Cyberpunk 2049, the scene where Ryan Gosling sees the digital hologram like girlfriend waifu as he stands like just like done with it all on the bridge. The thing, like, this may be dystopian and this may be highly alienating, but it's also beautiful. It is. It's artistically and aesthetically compelling. The problem is that because Cyberpunk 2049 is invested in making a good movie. Wait, sorry, it's Cyberpunk 76, right? Wait, did I say Cyberpunk? Blade Runner 2049. Whatever, shut up. I'm mad at Cyberpunk 2077 for making the game called Cyberpunk. You guys understand what I'm trying to say here? Like, in the movie, because they're making a movie and they want to make that movie beautiful, they make the dystopia beautiful. But in reality, the dystopia is not beautiful. The dystopia is actually ugly and crushingly banal. In reality, when cyber advertisements dominate the sky, they're not going to be like these beautiful, austere women with, like, you know, hazy neon colors staring at you and interacting with you. It's going to be corporate logos and like brand videos and jingles that are designed to get stuck in your head. It's going to be Bud Light ads, exactly. But that wouldn't make as good of a movie because it wouldn't be beautiful. It would just be depressing. Have you played the Cruelty Squad? Yes, I have, President Sunday. I liked it a lot. Not an easy game. Yeah, shit you see at the gas pump TV, exactly. Massive 12-lane roads, yeah. Even in the original Blade Runner, Deckard was an isolated loner who lived in the underworld. I mean, look at this. Blade Runner streets. This is what I mean again. Like, this is ultimately the problem with capturing dystopia in fiction. It's that the goal of making fictional media is often to compel the viewer with something interesting and engaging, you know? This is, here you go. Something like this. This isn't from Blade Runner exactly, but this is like the grungy cyberpunk dystopian, you know? You know what I mean? Like things like this is like a cyberpunk, like, oh yeah, everyone's poor, you're walking around, that kind of stuff. Now, the problem with this is that it's beautiful, you know? Like look, like more Blade Runner art. Here's a digital painting of an actual scene from Blade Runner. It's really pretty, right? Here's what actual dystopian streets look like. I mean, this is what alienation actually looks like. But that's not very cyberpunk, right? This is Camden, New Jersey, by the way. Like ultimately that's the issue. It's like all of the features of modern alienation. It's so all the technology that we see in cyberpunk stories like this are being used to augment this, not this. Does that make sense? We are gaining the ability to construct the technological apparatus of the cyberpunk dystopia, but we are not even gifted the beauty of the cyberpunk aesthetic. We are instead having existing dystopia augmented with this technology. It is the worst iteration than anything we can construct in media, unless we wanted to make a bleak fucking film. I think the movie Metropolis from 1927 did a decent job at this. From 1927? Movies were barely even a thing back then. Oh, well, this is more like The Wall type shit. This is like abstracted. This is a good ugly cyberpunk dystopia in media. Possibly Jack and Daxter. This is still a bit too abstracted for my taste. You know, I'm thinking like what's a good. I'm trying to think like what's a good representation here, but I don't really know. I mean, if I just look up like Korean slums. Korean slum in Busan. I don't know. I mean, is the cyberpunk dystopia, like the real cyberpunk dystopia, living in a place that looks like this, and then looking out to the sky and seeing the like Seoul's futuristic cityscape, like the skyline in the background? You know what I mean? District 9 is close. Wait, yeah, hold on. District 9, I think, did a good job with the juxtaposition to an extent, though there's a fantasy element. What about the Judge Dredd movie? I feel like the Judge Dredd movie is not talked about enough. The Judge Dredd movie was really good. I don't know why people don't talk about it more. Like, no kidding. It's really good. Dredd. Yeah, it's just called Dredd. I should watch it again. It's been a while. The city looks like this. Basically, you have mega blocks, which are like giant mega skyscrapers that operate as their independent cities. And everything outside of it is just like uber poverty, highways, and suburban hell. The thing that I like about it is that like you kind of see an extrapolation on existing urban trends, which is like vertical construction, but it's very clear the city is still poor because you can see even from the sky, like the way the city is built, the way there doesn't seem to be like any parks, and the way there isn't any extraneous light fixture. Like it's just concrete, utilitarian. Obviously, realistically, you would never see towers built this tall. That wouldn't be reasonable. But you know, but I think it does a good job of like conceptually capturing that kind of poverty. This is a juxtaposition between Dread City in higher resolution and Night City from Cyberpunk, which, as you can see again, Cyberpunk can't really escape the trappings of a genre by making stuff beautiful, can it? Right? I mean, if I Google Night City, that's the thing. You can make it as cyberpunk as you want, but why is it so beautiful? You know how much money it takes to keep stuff looking like this? Is this meant to be a poor neighborhood? Then how the fuck does the gas station, Tesco, whatever look like this? You know what I mean? The only point I'm trying to get to here is like, the problem is that like, I think that in a way, in the media we produce that is meant to criticize cyberpunk, like cyberpunk is inherently a self-critical genre, right? I mean, right? Cyberpunk is like, oh yeah, well, in the future we'll have cool technology, but at the same time, like, we'll be choked out by economic inequality, by poverty, by uncaring police and political officials. People have like a hard time with their identity, like that kind of stuff. So it's inherently self-critical, but it, like, are we not at risk of doing the thing where the critique gets missed by the audience and we just end up aesthetizing it anyway? Because all I see people talk about is how cool cyberpunk is. Like, everywhere. Every time people talk about cyberpunk, it's that it's cool. It's not supposed to be cool, asshole. It's a critique of what technology is doing to identity and social... Like, have you seen RoboCop? That wasn't cool. It would be like coming away from RoboCop, which is a great film that you should all watch. It would be like watching RoboCop and then going like, damn, the future looks bright, because in the future we'll have mechas. You know? But when I look at Night City from Cyberpunk, like it's beautiful, right? Like it looks utopian, not dystopian. Why? Because they have to make a beautiful video game, right? Nobody would look at an image like this and go like, oh, that's so dystopic. They would be like, Pog! Tokyo in real life? It's not just an anime? Cool! Neon lights! Wah! The rain makes the light reflect off of the roofs. Wah! Like, you know? Look at this! Look at this! You know, funnily enough, I feel like the original Blade Runner might have actually been better about this. Original Blade Runner. In a lot of ways, because when the dude's flying the driving car, or sorry, driving the flying car through Los Angeles, the city is not made to be beautiful at all. It's actually made to be oppressive. The advertisement that he sees of the woman on the side of the building that is probably like the size of 8 neighborhoods, it's not like a beautiful aesthetic neon hologram or whatever. It's just like a giant fucking ad. And the city isn't made to be beautiful. It's like, just look how ugly and alienating it's meant to be, right? In a lot of ways, the original Blade Runner was better about honestly depicting the problems with the world that it was building. See? Look at this. This is not like, oh, Pog, cool, it's Tokyo, but in real life. It's highly fucking alienating. It's actually, like, really jarring and uncomfortable. You get what I mean, right? Yeah, look at this. This is from the original Blade Runner. There we go. This looks like poverty to me. Look at this. Not like Night City or whatever. This looks like poverty to me. So here you have like the tropes of cyberpunk, where you have like the heavy East Asian influence and you've got like fucking neon lights everywhere, but this looks like a dirty, ugly, grimy city. I mean, are these homeless tents? Are they tank traps? What the fuck is this? It looks like there are homeless people packed into the sides. Hey, that's pretty futuristic. That's concept art? Yeah, it's concept art, but like that's what I'm talking about, like the aesthetic, right? No, I would eat here. I mean, you could eat here. I'm just saying, oh, never mind. My point might be getting lost here. I don't know. I hope somebody gets it. This doesn't look cyberpunk at all. It does. You gotta understand, the original Blade Runner was one of the things that codified the cyberpunk genre. You don't think this looks cyberpunk because you're 13 years old, and when you think cyberpunk, you think Ghost Runner. You think of people wearing, like, steel masks that have, like, neon, like neon flashing lights, doing ninja sword katana moves from rooftops to defeat, like, mecha Yakuza, okay? But in reality, the cyberpunk genre was originally highly critical. The entirety of the original Blade Runner story is a cop being sent to kill former slaves that escaped, who are robots that are probably human in every way that matters. The entire story is you, the detective, running around murdering people who are smarter and more experienced and have had more experiences than any human, because they had the audacity to be created as robots. And as a product of that, they cannot exist alongside humans. So you're just murdering them. That's it. Coruscant? I have never liked the world building in Star Trek. Sorry, fuck! I love the world building in Star Trek. I have never liked the world building that much in Star Wars, though I guess there's so much extended Star Wars media that it's kind of like the world's biggest bucket to pull from. It's okay. Star Wars has always been a little bit too science fantasy for my taste. I don't know how much it can. Yeah, this is Kowloon, the walled city. And this is, by the way, a deeply cyberpunk-like kind of thing, you know? With space running out and everyone wanted to pack into the city, so you just have, like, tenement slums that are 10 stories tall. That is, like, a tropish cyberpunk thing, you know? Not all of Cyberpunk 2077 is pretty. A lot of it is deliberately ugly. Man, is this ugly to you? This comes across as a romanticization to me. Like, this to me, this is ugly in the same way that, like, wealthy people will go to downtown Los Angeles and go slumming by being around people who are poor. Like, look at this. Nothing looks dirty. There's spray painted graffiti around. Like, you just have a couple of people chilling. You have, like, these pretty little gazebo. Rich people would pay $30 for a meal from this, the perfect shoe. This isn't real ugliness. This is a wealthy tech dude's interpretation of, like, the urban poor. It's an idealization. Have you been to an ultra poor area? It's too clean. It's not populated enough. It's not grimy or dangerous in the way that it would need to be. Why are all of these lights working? Why would vendors that have to operate in this part of the city even be able to afford neon signs? Have you seen, like, Koreatown? Have you seen what signs look like in poor parts of town? They don't look like custom neon signs with cursive writing. If you're in a poor part of town, signage all looks like this. This is Los Angeles, Koreatown right here. It's all this. You have blocks that are put on front of the storefront, and people will pay to have like a canvas stretched across it that'll just say in typeface what their business is and what it does. And that's it. Remember, the future is about uniformity and banality. A world where technology can create for us anything, but nobody can afford any of it. This is 50 years in the future. No, you're missing the point. 50 years in the future doesn't mean anything. Neon lights existed 50 years in the past, but they're still using these. That's the point. The whole point of cyberpunk is that you live in a world where technology is capable of building a utopia, but because of economic inequality and social disparity, everyone lives in the dirt crusting at the base of that utopia. That's the point. That's the point. The banality is the point. In a cyberpunk dystopia, you guys would not be getting tech implants in your arm like fucking Cyberpunk 2077. You would not be some cool cyber warrior. You would be like either homeless or a desk jockey getting paid barely above like the living wage in your area, if you're fucking lucky, before you go back into your tenement with 3 other roommates. All the trends of the recent past. There are people who can barely afford kitchen appliances that were invented a century ago. The point is that technology is outpacing our social ability to allocate these resources effectively. You don't get anything. In the cyberpunk future, you will live in a world where every day you read headlines about how geneticists are getting closer and closer to creating immortality or to fixing or curing cancer while your parents die of it. Every day in a cyberpunk dystopia, you will wake up and learn about the development of interstellar travel being advanced while you wonder whether or not you're going to be able to get clean water to drink next week. That is cyberpunk, which is why I reject this. You're not gonna make it. That's the point. That sounds like real life. It is real life. That's the whole point of this segment. Bro, this is a bad media take, lol. God. For a lot of people, cyberpunk is just steampunk, that it's like a good aesthetic. And like, whatever. Vosh is literally describing the most basic premise of cyberpunk, lmaoooo. Yeah, I know, but like, yeah. What are some other good examples? What are some other good examples of what I'm trying to describe from things that I know about? City 17? Nah, City 17 doesn't really, it's not cyberpunk at all. IMO. Elysium is a good example. I'm trying to think of stuff that I've seen. District 9? Pay attention, we've seen this. Shadowrunner? I don't... Shadowrunner is like a board game plus CRPG series, right? Shadowrun goes too far in the future for it to be really relevant to this discussion. This isn't really cyberpunk at this point. This is like a different kind of futurism. Elysium City? I'm just getting real life cities. Whatever. It's fine. What about Ghost in the Shell? That was one of the early codifiers. Oh no, it's showing me from the movie. Original Ghost in the Shell. I want to see the fucking movie. Oh man, dude. The original Ghost in the Shell is such a work of art. This is what I'm fucking talking about. The protagonist of the story is literally a fucking android. Or is she a cyborg? It's a human brain, right? I forget. I think it's a cyborg. Yeah, cyborg. But the cityscapes in Ghost in the Shell. I think this is somebody else's artistic riff on it. This is what I mean. This is what I mean. This is what we've lost, you know? You live in the future, but what has the future brought to the poverty-stricken in the world today, right? Today we live in the future for a lot of people. There are people who live in slums in India. What is the future to them? Like, we already live there. What has it done? Do they have their AI flashing lights? What do they have? Like, they have nothing. Absolutely nothing. That's the point. You will live in this future and it will bring you nothing. You will live in a world of wonders and be denied them. That's the whole point of cyberpunk. Having a game where you're techno nano augmenting your whole fucking body. I mean, man, Ghost in... God, I gotta rewatch a lot of shit. Look at this. This is perfect right here. God, I grew up in Los Angeles. I could have walked down this road. I could have walked down this road. Do you think the slums of Los Angeles will have flashing neon lights in 50 years? Think about it. God, what a beautiful film. Been to LA, yep. You think Skid Row will? God damn. Look at this. The only thing in this shot that's futuristic, apart from the skyscrapers in the background, is the design of the garbage truck. It brings about, like, there's a banality in the futurism. Like, at some point the city had the money to update their garbage trucks. But apart from that, like, yeah, this is your city. I think it politically important. Istanbul in a potential cyberpunk future. Well, this is just like art. I can't like decipher a world from this. It is beautiful, but without seeing the streets, it's just like a painting, you know. I'm thinking of like a world. Wasn't so much the focus, but I think Cowboy Bebop did some of this kind of stuff well too. Yeah, but that was like far, far in the future. That was post interstellar travel, so it's real Taipei now. Okay, when I say cyberpunk, I worry you guys don't understand what I'm talking about. Okay, what I'm talking about is an understanding that the aesthetic and ideological origins of cyberpunk are about a juxtaposition of futuristic technology with social inequality and crushing poverty. That's like the core. And there's stuff about identity and futurism in there as well, you know. Yeah. But like we're yeah, it's high tech low life is the thing, you know. Yeah, here's Skid Row. Right? This is, yeah, Fashion District. Yeah, the Skid Row. Yeah. I used to drive through Skid Row all the time because it was one of the ways out from Union Station. Detroit Become Human is mid, but I think the level design is what you're talking about. To an extent, yeah. Wait, what about Deus Ex Original? What was the city that you're in for the majority of the original Deus Ex? You're in Hong Kong for a good bit of it. What about when you're in America? Detroit? You're in Detroit, right? New York too? Well, that's just when you're on Liberty Island. It's not showing. No, this is the second. That's Human Revolution, you fucking... Guys, the original Deus Ex did not have fucking pre-planned takedown moves, okay? Fucking whatever. This original Deus Ex, the one that opens on Liberty Island. Chicago? Okay. God. No, now I'm just getting shit from Invisible War. God, oh. No one's played the fucking classics. Deus Ex is considered one of the best games ever made. You guys should play it. It doesn't even feel that old once you get playing. Human Revolution isn't the second. Nobody gives a fuck about Invisible War. What ending did you get? The Kaczynski ending. Would a present-day cyberpunk narrative work? Yeah, of course it can. That's an aesthetic. Jesus fuck. NPCs on loop. Here's a street view of New York in the original Deus Ex. It's so dark, it's hard to tell anything. Fuck. God damn it. Ready Player One City? Ready Player One fucking sucked. I will admit, I think it's a terrible render. Like, I think this looks like shit, but the idea of, like, a stacked, multi-tiered, like, trailer park is aesthetically interesting, if nothing else. I don't think they did a good job with it. Dude, when the fuck did people who make movies forget about the hue black? Why is there no contrast in this image? Look at the image, look at the art from the original Blade Runner. Oh god, we're gonna have to look through so much to find it. What happened to contrast, dude? Holy shit. All of these images employ a better use of contrast, even here through the haze, than whatever the living fuck this eyesore is. Jesus Christ. Suburb from Detroit Become Human. That looks nice. I never played this game. Wasn't this a David Cage game? I will never play a David Cage game. Would Metal Gear Rising count? No. No, this is just a city with a robot in it. No, it's about the juxtaposition. It's about juxtaposition. Okay. This is a nice GIF. That's nice. Okay, you know what I like about this? I like the fact you have like a canal here in the city that looks like it could actually be really pretty, but there's a canal boat going through, and the only job of this canal boat is to show advertisements on both sides, thereby ruining the canal. I like this a lot. Look, there's this boat serves no purpose outside of blaring this annoying fucking ad in your face. The woman on the side here even looks irritated by it. You can see she's like, what? As the boat approaches her, she's just getting like lights blaring at the corner of her eye. This is what I mean. The technology will exist, but it will not improve your life. It will exist and make things worse for you. The technology won't be used to serve the betterment of human society. It won't make your lives easier, more fun, more interesting. It'll be used by wealthy people to strangle from you more wealth. Because that's what's happening right now with existing technology. Tech will not free you as long as tech is produced and controlled by the wealthy. Yeah, Akira is another good example. Akira kind of goes in the opposite direction, where Akira is set much farther in the future, but rather than everything being this like super densely packed like Tokyo inner city kind of vibe, Akira goes the opposite direction by making everything big and lonely, It's interesting because it serves the same purpose. I mean, you still have like the standard cyberpunk affair with like the, like dense city streets, blah blah blah. But everything in Akira feels really desolate in a way that Blade Runner doesn't. And I think it's interesting how they do that. Like, look at how unnecessarily wide all of the street shots are. There's never anyone on the streets, or at least there aren't usually that many people on them. This is like 8 lanes wide, but it's just empty. Just kind of neat, right? Look at this. This is just a shot from it. What is this? In a way, this feels kind of prescient to me because people are going outside less and less, right? In a way, isn't this almost the vision of a modern dystopia where you have these like gigantic skyscrapers and city streets made for cars that no one uses anyway because everyone just gets everything from their home? Like no one leaves, nobody socializes. I mean, there's something about that, right? The emptiness is a deliberate part of Akira's aesthetic. And the highways. They love the highways. Even the like conceptual art that I see of Akira kind of highlights how lonely this place is. It's always a big empty road, isn't it? That's what they love. That's the Akira thing. It's a big empty road and then some hoodlums with a motorcycle zoom down it. Akira is shiny but poorly written trash. Poorly written? Ooh. Does Batman Beyond count as cyberpunk? It kind of does, doesn't it? At least in a little bit? I'd say so. I'd say at least a little bit. Though they take some liberties with the extent of the technological development, because even though Batman Beyond is only 50 years after the Batman series, which means that since the Batman series came out in the 90s, this would have been in like 2040. For some reason, the entirety of Gotham is like this, like 10,000 years in the future megacity. You know what I mean? So they jump ahead with the development quite quickly, but it serves the purpose, and it's definitely dystopian. I don't know if you could say it's cyberpunk because it doesn't really have the same ideological origins. The Batman Beyond depicts Gotham as like crime-ridden and terrifying, but it doesn't really have the like East Asian influence thing, which is so common and kind of racist in cyberpunk art. It doesn't really have the themes of identity. I don't know. Neo-Gothic, perhaps? What was that? That was my fans overheating while I think about things. There is a kind of beauty to Batman Beyond's city. Everything, like Akira, everything is very large and very empty. You don't see that many people on the streets. I can't think of a single scene in any of the like Batman or Batman Beyond 90s or 2000s cartoons where there's like a ton of people just casually enjoying the city outside, because everything takes place at night, and the night is full of criminals and blah blah. It was real well done, yeah. That's outside the animation budget. That's true. That's true. It's also important to remember that since this is a TV show rather than a movie, like they're operating off of pretty severe budget limitations, and it's possible they would have put more people out here if they could have. It objectively looks like Gotham improved, though. It does, doesn't it? Guys, it's been a while since I've seen Batman Beyond. Did Gotham improve? Is it better in Batman Beyond than it was in Batman's Day, even a little bit? Or has it gotten worse, or is it basically the same? It has more crime? Yeah. You know, I would actually go so far as to say that the most recent The Batman... Yeah, different problems. I would go so far as to say the most recent The Batman actually kind of hits on this quite a bit. Gotham City in the new Batman movie feels like a very Americanized kind of cyberpunk aesthetic, in the sense that the movie is like hyper fixated on the poverty and disgusting dirt. But it's also very clear how I really like the penthouse that they gave Batman in this, right? New Batman movie, Wayne Manor. I never really liked that the Wayne Manor was like this reclusive mansion, because that's how old money works, right? Nowadays, wealthy people live in like penthouses in tech cities and look down on all the poors. You know what I mean? I'm trying to fucking find it. It's hard to find. Hold on. New Batman movie, City. Here we go. From the article, Matt Reeves, the Batman, finally makes Gotham gross again. Oh, that's way too low res. Here we go. There we go. Still low res. But is this not cyberpunk? Like you have the aesthetics here, don't you? The city is built in this like oppressive, brutalist. Oh, this is the Tim Burton one? Cyberpunk Gothic? No, I still think it hits. Hold on. Tim Burton Batman City. Didn't the Tim Burton films like really hit on the idea of like the urban poor crawling around in this gigantic, like inhumane city? I guess you can't really say it's cyberpunk because it's not really cyber futuristic. I guess it's more like industrial in that nature, industry punk. Yeah, I guess it's more industrial or gothic punk. I'm trying to find shit from the new Batman movie. There are more neon lights in the new Batman movie. Here we go. That's really nice, isn't it? This is a really good shot. That's a really good shot. This is what poverty looks like. Not fucking... Oh, God. Finding the specific image. Oh, God. Oh, God. Not fucking this. This. You know? You get what I mean? I don't know. I've been rambling about this for a while, but I feel strongly about this because I feel like the aestheticization of cyberpunk ideology has made people way more accepting of the things that will bind us in the future. Oh, from this tweet, yeah. Yeah, man. Oh, there we go. This looks really good. This is such an East Coast Americanized cyberpunk case. I fully stand by that. 100%. At the very least, it captures the same, like, ideology and aesthetic, even if it doesn't literally have cybernetic technology yet. You seem to be mischaracterizing cyberpunk. One of the defining features is the contrast between color and blandness. The rich have the money to tech the power, but they also have the bright colors. The poor can only imitate that. To an extent, I mean, there are bright colors in the poorer areas, but there is real wealth in Gotham, right? God. Is this from the new one, or is this from the Nolan films? The creator of Cyberpunk calls it a warning. Yeah. Cyberpunk 2077 co-creator Mike Pondsmith. Cyberpunk is a warning, not an aspiration. I fully get that. It's just, it's really difficult to buy into that when it's like Cyberpunk gameplay. It's really difficult to buy into that.
Man.
You'll find your own.
Thank you.
Terry. Born here. PD's apex predators. Impact rolls in when things fly out of hand.
That. The job.
Oh, I don't know. I haven't played Cyberpunk myself, but I have seen other people play it. Skipping ahead to find my cherry-picked pretty scene. It's not about how pretty it is, necessarily. It's that games like this are always going to make their aesthetic look cool. The trailer was super glitzy. I mean, yeah, the trailer was extremely glitzy, but like you got to play the game. I've seen other people. I've seen playthroughs. I don't like games like this. Well, this is the cinematic trailer, launch trailer.
Would you rather?
I don't know. I don't know. Cyberpunk 2077 is thematic mud. Yeah. What is this from? The Expanse? What is this butthole tower up here? You mean open world games in general? I don't like GTA style games. Fuck did my underwear go? Oh my God. Most of Night City is really poor and dirty. It's just that most of the images. Oh! Megalobox! That city did a really good job with the like grimy, yeah. It's basically Rocky, except boxers fight with like mechanical arms. It's just like dumb fun, I guess. But it's really well done, like artistically. IMHO. And obviously you have all the technology and God damn it, the resolution of these images when I fucking open them up. God damn it. The protagonist lives in like a fucking dump off of a highway outside of the city. And most of the story is in the context of like experiencing poverty. And then he goes into the city for his fights. They do a really good job, man. I really fucking wish they wouldn't crunch these images down and then lie about their resolution on Google. It'd be really cool if I could actually look at these images in their real resolution. Technically One Piece? No. One Piece is not Cyberpunk. Because you're pulling the thumbnail? No, when I open the main thing, they lie about it too. Here? Thank you. Still low res, but a lot better. Weren't you a fan of the Yakuza series? Well, that's just in Tokyo, like in the recent past. Also, I've never played any of the Yakuza games, so no. What was somebody saying about Caleb Maupin earlier? We got to get out of this segment, or I'm not. We have to get out of here. There are way too many tabs here. Are you sure you're not being pretentious as fuck? No, I'm actually engaging in the opposite of pretense. I'm literally talking about the basic ideological tenets of Cyberpunk. It's not pretense at all. Here's a linky. What? Oh, this isn't even content. This is future content. Caleb Maupin's trying to come back. Let's finally talk about what happened. Your boy Spanky Tank. Oh, I love this like Obama tier sympathetic, you know, like he's with this the furrowed brows, you know? He's like, we're finally ready to address this. The time that I, you know, forced people who were working for me to eat out of the garbage while I siphoned money off of a woman I forced into sex work so she could continue to pay rent to me. We're finally ready to talk about that. That was Cyberpunk? Yeah, true. Virgil did it better by simply not coming back. Virgil, Texas, responded to grooming allegations with the grace and dignity that we can all only aspire to. He just fucking disappeared forever. No one else has managed to achieve that so effectively. For all we know, he's dead. We don't fucking know. He just vanished. That's incredible, you know? Everyone thinks that. They think like, wow, after those accusations came out, what if he just disappeared? He actually did it, though. He ordered a vacuum cleaner. Yeah, exactly. Okay, close this, close this, close that, close this, close that. Okay. All right. Let's read some donos. Alan Payne with the $5. I think it's possible for a piece of media to explore cyberpunk ideas and themes without committing 100% to the original aesthetic. I agree. However, it is extremely difficult to have a story about how actually this future is alienating and dystopian and doesn't serve the people when the gameplay loop is about becoming more wealthy and powerful through your own individual behavior in a city that has a bunch of like cool flashing lights, you know? Unfortunately, the idea that individual competence can allow you to escape the crushing poverty of cyberpunk dystopia is itself a reification of the neoliberal ideology that cyberpunk is critiquing. Kowalski from Nebraska. Yeah, a lot of people were recommending Elysium. I think I have to watch it anyway. They want me to watch Elysium and something else. It's like a show. It's like, yeah, you can tell you definitely didn't play the game. Okay, whatever. I haven't played the game, but even if I had, I know you'd be wrong. I'm not even doing this with you guys. People say that all the time. You know, it's like, well, you haven't, so I don't need. Okay, whatever. Wasn't there another thing that people want me to watch? Not Vanguard. It's like a TV show. The Expanse. The Expanse. That's it. That one account with $5, Doctor Who had a good cyberpunk episode. People lived below in constant traffic. When I think of cyberpunk, man, for me, it's like Egypt New Highway. Have you guys seen this? When I think of cyberpunk, that's what I thought of when I saw this. Add some glowing lights to this, and you've got Cyberpunk 101, baby. Holy shit. Cyberpunk must necessarily take place in a neoliberalized society because neoliberalism is the ideology currently that fosters the economic inequality that leads to the cyberpunk system. So the idea of like demolishing tenements so that you can build a fucking 12-lane highway 8 inches from somebody's apartment balcony, you know, that's perfect. Perfect. You could light a match by walking out onto your balcony and reaching out with one, and eventually a car will strike it. So, or to put it another way, hold on. Let me Google Cyberpunk City, okay? I think this image in Egypt is significantly more cyberpunk than any random fucking neon future cityscape that you could see here. Like, wow, Cyberpunk City. This, to me, is more cyberpunk than this. This is just cool glowing city. You know nothing about the ideology of this city outside the fact that advertisements still exist and they really like neon colors. That's it. You know, all you know is it's a city where people like lights. That's it. You can tell so much about Egypt by looking at this city, by this image. You know what I mean? Okay, but the second one is pretty. Yeah, well, that's not all it comes down to, okay? Yeah, listen. This is punk. It just needs the cyber. This is cyber. Where's the punk? That's what I'm talking about, okay? But it's easy to add cyber to punk. Throw some colored lights up on here and you're golden. That's just an aesthetic change. But in order to add punk to this world, you need world building, and that takes effort. This is farther from cyberpunk on its own than this is, because this makes clear the ideology that beget this system, and this is just glowing lights. Can we look at solar punk for some hopium? I guess a good equivalent of this would be like, saying this is cyberpunk would be like looking at a green urbanist city and saying it's solar punk. Like, that would be my way of saying it. It'd be like, yeah, this would be it. It would be, so looking at this city and saying it's cyberpunk is like looking at this and saying it's solar punk. Now keep in mind, solar punk is a like radically anarchist aesthetic about abandoning not only fossil fuels, but like solar punk is an innately optimistic system. This is a parking structure with fucking grass on it. There can't be a parking structure in a solar punk world. But this has the aesthetic of solar punk because it's like pretty and green and stuff, you know? If you take a look at solar punk, you're going to see a lot of images that are just like stuff like this. But what can you tell about this is not solar punk. I'm sorry, I'm going to gatekeep here. Why the fuck are there advertisements everywhere? How do they sustain all of this infrastructure? This isn't sustainable infrastructure. This is just like your regular futuristic cityscape with a canal and with trees. Anyone can do that, you know? When I think of solar punk, I think of stuff like this. I think of radical transformations. You can see a city in the background here, but I think more, this is from that yogurt ad we saw before, yeah. Which was great. That was a great yogurt ad. Do you get what I mean? Like, I feel like a lot of people just treat solar punk and cyberpunk as just aesthetic veneers to throw on top of a modern cityscape, not understanding the ideological dissonance at play here. Cyberpunk needs capitalism and inequality, and solar punk needs their absence. It needs them to be gone. So how can you have solar punk where the world that you're looking at looks like, let's be clear, just any other drawing of a cityscape except with plants somewhere? Like, we just have more green. That's literally it. And look at everything else here. It's just green. But solar punk is a rejection. Like, look at this. What is this? Oh yeah, dude. Sustainable fucking architecture. Yeah, we made it glass bubbles with green. This is what sustainable architecture looks like, guys. It looks like glass bubbles with green. Never mind the energy cost of constructing stuff that goes up this high. Why would you even have skyscrapers in a solar punk society? What? But they don't know. It's just like, what if we made things with glass bubbles and green? What if we made something, yeah, look like an Apple product? That's the future. But people will say, like, yeah, this is solar punk, and people will say, like, yeah, this is cyberpunk. It's like, woo! Woo! No joke, look at Soviet punk. Weren't we reading donos? I've seen some good Soviet punk stuff. Not seeing any good here, though. Whatever. We need to move on. We need to move on. This is ridiculous. You're so wrong in this, Lamau, and I'll debate you on it. Hello, new user. Mad from YouTube chat. I love making people mad from YouTube chat. Did you know that? Read donos and change this topic. You know nothing about game design. Look at this fucking dude. This person still thinks that we're talking about fucking Cyberpunk the game. This is just an image, bro. Cyberpunk is a whole aesthetic. You know that. You think we're still talking about 2077? Oh my god, he's so mad. Game design. Yeah, he's like, this hour-long rant on aesthetics and ideology. You haven't played Cyberpunk 77. I bet you don't even have a sociology degree. I saw Figure Trouble. Do we look at RoboCop? Man, RoboCop is so good. God, RoboCop is so fucking good, dude. Who here hasn't seen RoboCop but will now that I've recommended it? Raise your hand, please. RoboCop, the original Cyberpunk, or sorry, not the original Blade Runner, the original Ghost in the Shell. No, you made me mad. Okay, that's fair. Okay, one last observation I'm going to make. Are you ready for it? Are you ready for one last observation? Okay. You know how, like, in every single Cyberpunk game or movie or whatever, eventually you will come into contact with the armored troop, and it's somebody wearing, like, futuristic armored clothing, or, like, they have a cyber gun or some shit or whatever. One thing that I really like about RoboCop is that he looks dorky. Unironically. And this is deliberate design, too. He looks kind of dorky. He has, like, this clunky exosuit on, and then he's just got, like, a visor, and he's constantly pursing his lips. It looks a little bit goofy, doesn't it? Right? I mean, yeah. Even in shots where he's meant to look cool, and don't get me wrong, he doesn't not look cool, you know, but he does look kind of goofy, right? But you know what he looks like to me? He looks like a cop. Shaved head, pursed disapproving lips, eyes hidden behind a visor to dehumanize and depersonalize him. Like, think about it for a second. I might sound like I'm reaching a little bit, right? But he's really slow and clunky in the film. He's competent and powerful. But when he's remade as a RoboCop, he's not made as an idealistic, like, apex of human technological accomplishment. He's not meant to be super refined or pretty. He's not meant to be uncritically cool. They hold back a little bit. They make him look a little bit like a stupid fucking thumb. Doesn't he, you know? And that's the point. They don't make him look like a cyber warrior. They make him look like, well, a cop but robo. Does that make any sense? No? Okay. Cyberpunk police officer. Okay, if you take a look at, like, if you can just Google cyberpunk police officer, and I think what you'll find is that overwhelmingly, these guys look rad as fuck. Now, in real life, cops look like thumbs. Here's a cyberpunk police officer. Oh, I guess in the future, police officers will all look like the coolest dudes ever. That's great. I look forward to that. You know, that's cool. Here's some cyberpunk police officers from 2077, low res, obviously, but here they look like fully mechanized SWAT mecha warriors, so that's cool. Here's a 3D printable cyberpunk police officer, the design for which is $5 if you want to 3D print them. So I guess in the future, cyberpunk police officers will all have giant guns and look super cool, super badass, you know? We can keep going, like, for a while. Oh, this is from Cyberpunk 2077 again. Are these guys cops? They sure do look cool. You know? Oh, they're the trauma team? They sure fucking look like cops. Here we go. Ah, here's a robot version. There we go. Looks super cool. Here we go. Cyberpunk police. Looks super cool. Here we go. Cyberpunk police. Looks super cool. Do you get the point that I'm trying to make here? Looks kind of like a thumb. And this, by the way, was a deliberate choice. I know this was back from the 1980s, but they absolutely had the ability to design a more sleek, more human-looking apparatus. But they made him look like this because one of the things that's emphasized is that his dehumanization in becoming a RoboCop was not just like a physiological thing, you know. It was also like a depersonalization of him as a human. He's less human for it. I know what you're going for, but you're literally picking things in 2077 that are counterexamples to your point. How? Do you get... You guys are going to make me cry. Move on? If you... In the original RoboCop, they made a very deliberate effort to make him look like a kind of tragic half-man. That was like the point. Like, they didn't just make him cool. Like, okay, here, okay. Here's the RoboCop remake from 2014. Do you see a difference? Think for a second. This isn't just an aesthetic change. Do you see how they made him go from looking like a thumb to looking like a cool cyber warrior? Do you 1980s to 2014 Vosh, come on. Yes. Do you think the change in time might beget an ideological shift in the creators, much in the same way that the original Blade Runner movie focused heavily on poverty and the dystopian, oppressive nature of the city, whereas the sequel to the Blade Runner movie, 2046 or whatever, highly emphasized the aesthetic beauty of that world, even while they critiqued its inequality? Like, there might be different aesthetic prioritizations. Maybe, possibly, something has changed in the past 35 years that might make people more, say, ideologically accommodating of the aesthetic and ideological presuppositions of a cyberpunk world, given the fact that we live in a system that exists to legitimize itself? No, I think it's CGI. Or it could be that. The warning became the advertisement? Yeah. This frustration is good for you? Yeah, I'm being kept young right now. I'm good. I'm gonna live to 100 with this community. Man, there's just such a difference in the way he's framed. Chat is slowly eroding your sanity. You have to break the cycle. Ah, God, It's kind of like what they did with Judge Dredd. Where's the modern Judge Dredd? Is it him? Is this? I think this is the modern Judge Dredd. One of the things that really made me like the modern Dredd movie is that, okay, so for those of you who don't know, Judge Dredd is about it's the future. There's 10 bajillion quadrillion people on Earth. Every social system is broken down, and only one man can keep people safe from destruction. It is Judge Dredd, judge, jury, executioner. There was a previous Judge Dredd movie where Sylvester Stallone played Judge Dredd, you know, because he's a big guy and everything. But like, Judge Dredd in the comics has been depicted in a wide variety of ways. Judge Dredd, so first of all, Judge Dredd is a fascist. That is not something that can be argued. He lives in an authoritarian system where he has basically infinite, unlimited right to do whatever he wants. His catchline is, I am the law, right? Yeah, his catchphrase. He will insert himself into any situation and kill his way through it. Now, because many of his adaptations are being done by people whose ideology is closer to fascism than mine is, they will depict these tendencies of his as a good thing. Like, there are a lot of comics with Judge Dredd where they will just uncritically be like, yeah, the way we need to deal with criminals is just give these cops the right to go and do what they need to do. Where like, yeah, if only these namby-pamby, bleeding heart liberals weren't keeping cops from doing what needs to be done, you know, then they would be able to, like, take down evil or whatever. But the nice thing about the better Dredd adaptations is that they're very, very, very clear on what exactly he is. Dredd in the recent movie, you haven't read many, have you? Oh my god! I have read more comics than you! There have been plenty of adaptations of Dredd where he is framed uncritically. Stop! Holy shit! I'm literally saying it varies based on the writers, okay? Oh my god. I have read... I know! It depends on the writers. It's like The Punisher, where The Punisher is just meant to be this hyper-antagonistic, anti-everyone fucking misanthrope, and every once in a while some idiot will write him to be like a cop. So much so that other writers had to explicitly have him explain that he hates cops too. Stop trying to fight with me on every fucking point. I'm begging you. Please. Do you know what comics were like in the 90s? If you Google 90s comics or whatever, like 90s Rob Liefeld, what did comics look like back then? Every fucking cover is some guy with 8,000 pounds of muscle screaming at Kill Dreadstorm, who's fucking... This is every comic in the 90s. This was the only comic from the 90s. This one. This was Prophet. This edition. It was $1.95. This was the only one you could get throughout the 90s. Watchmen came out, and then everyone misread it, and now this was all you got for the 90s. Congratulations, okay? There. This was comics. And yeah, there were writers who did a bad job with Dredd, okay? But in the recent Dredd movie, Dredd is partnered with a new lady, like, you know, like a non-veteran on the force, you know. And it's been a while since I've seen the movie, so I don't have much in the way of specific memories, but I think the movie does a really good job of making Dredd the protagonist while also making it clear that what he is monstrous. Does that make sense? The people who Dredd are fighting, the people that he's fighting, are horrible. They're monsters. He is better than them in the context of their direct conflict. But it's made clear the whole movie through that he is also absolutely and unquestionably a monster. And not in the namby-pamby, like, oh, but he's the monster we need kind of deal. Like, no, not even remotely. Like, unleashing Dredd on any kind of legal situation is the equivalent of, like, dropping Agent Orange because there are bad guys in that particular neighborhood. He's like the human equivalent of, like, the Move City bombings. He's like the human equivalent of, like, yeah, I'll take care of your kidnapping issue. I just need to, give Colombian neckties to every single person I encounter on the way. It's very obvious that he is not a good thing, that what is happening here is bad. But in this specific movie, he is the protagonist. And I think that he does a really good job with that, personally. Also, wasn't the bad guy Helen Bo Carter? The drug empress? I also just like Helen Bo Carter. No? Was it not? No, it was Lena. Really? Cersei Lannister. Oh, wow. Okay, my bad. Oh, yeah, oh my god, you're totally right. Wow, the moment I look at her, it's very clear. Yeah, obviously. Huh, okay, well, haven't seen it in a while. Gotta watch it again. Is she the baddie? Oh, she's a baddie here. Oh, yeah. She bad in this movie. She's insane. She's completely insane. Okay. I apologize for allowing the majority of this stream. Oh, we didn't even lose, like, any viewers. You guys must have liked me screaming at chat. Well, you rewarded bad behavior. I'm reading through donos and then I'm leaving. I have literally yelled myself hoarse on this. Has one of the coolest boss deaths of all time, though. Yeah, I remember the end. It was so fucking good. I just want to be clear to anyone watching. It's okay that if we have disagreements on the boundaries here. I just want to make it clear why I believe what I believe. That's it. I just want to make it clear why I believe what I believe. Because no. Markinator with the $5. Judge Dredd literally burned some henchmen with a white phosphorus incendiary grenade in one scene in the movie. Oh yeah, I remember that. He's not good. Ziggy Zack with $10. I just watched a video on how Robert Gulliman is touted as a hero, but is still a fascist like the rest of the Imperium. He's just a secular one as opposed to a theocratic one. Yeah, I guess I'm very worried about like the dissonance between aesthetic and ideology because I keep running into this issue. Professor Flowers has the aesthetic of a progressive, but the ideology of a like a racial nationalist, right? Warhammer 40K is about a fascist dystopia, but some people aestheticize it in ways that kind of idealize it. People think that Jimmy Dore and Brianna Joy Gray have the aesthetic of leftism, but ideologically they're conservative or worse, or worse. You know, like that's the issue for me. Like I want to be really clear. Like aesthetics are very rarely the critical the critical issue. Oh my God, Artemy has been sleeping here the whole time, listening to me yell, Artemy. He's eepy. Is Batman a fascist or not all the time? There are elements of Batman that are fascistic. It really depends on who's writing him. Batman in Dark Knight Returns is pretty fucking fascist. It really depends on the writers. It always depends on the writers with characters like this. Hey guys, what god do you think we have to sacrifice a black goat to in order for us to get a Superman movie where Superman isn't like some brooding, edgy guy who's constantly questioning his worth as a human and his place in human society, and is rather just like a well-meaning, idealistic Boy Scout? Can we get like an actual Superman movie and not these shit fucking Superman is a bad character? No, I disagree. I actually think that things are so cynical right now that if we just got the new animated DC movies for that, yeah, but I mean a real movie, you know. I just think he's very boring. No, I disagree. I think that Superman playing a Boy Scout is boring if he lives in a Boy Scouts world. If we're talking comics from the 1960s or whatever, where like everything is all biff bam pow, him being a Boy Scout is just him being a part of that universe. What's interesting is being a Boy Scout in our universe, where millions of people die due to starvation that is a product of government inaction, where, you know, you can save people from burning buildings or whatever, but meanwhile there's a genocide in Rwanda or whatever, and we can't, and the US won't allow Superman to step in, or they'll sanction him because they're afraid that it would do this or that or the other, you know? Like, I feel like that's the difficulty, is being a nice guy in a difficult world. But Superman is usually not placed in a difficult world. Superman is put in a world where his strength fixes problems. Now the thing is, Superman's strength could fix any problem he wanted. He would just have to use it against the right people. Liberian with the tier 1 sub. How long until Elon runs Twitter into the ground? Already happening. Liam O'Dowd, thank you for the $5. True. Waterboy 500, thank you for the incredibly kind $50. That is really kind of you. I love it when you go on a tangent about something. I love hearing people be passionate. Also, here's some money for all the free content. Thank you. I really appreciate that. It's very kind of you. Yeah, I try to be passionate about this stuff, you know. I hope I don't ruffle any feathers with chat. Not that I mind ruffling feathers, clearly. It's all I fucking do in this job. But, you know, even if we have disagreements or whatever, all I want is for people to understand where I'm coming from. You know, that's it. That means a lot to me. I don't mind arguing with you guys. You know, it's nothing personal. Even if I specifically call you out or anything, I don't hold any grudges or anything like that. It's just I'm passionate about it. Horrible Ham with the $8 donation for my blue Voosh checkmark. Ha! Yes, need to prioritize myself in the feed. Ivan Alvarado and Charlotte96, thank you for the $5 both. Maybe Charlotte. Does the Spielberg movie Artificial Intelligence fit? I haven't seen it, I'm afraid. Peasant Supreme 34, thanks the $10. Can we talk about the Olympics was supposed to take place in Neo Tokyo and Akira, but nobody cares, I think? I haven't seen Akira in a long time. I'm afraid I don't remember what plot point you're referring to. Hokies Alum and Leafar, thank you for the $5 both. Really appreciate it. I saw it, Hokies Alum. We very briefly saw it the last stream. Demolition Man, one of the most depressing cyberpunk futures. Oh yeah, I've never seen Demolition Man. Is that movie good? Demolition Man. 1993 film, the year before I was born. Yes, it's funny as fuck. It's from that era of action movies where everyone had like catchphrases and one-liners and shit. Can I just say, Stallone looks actually really good in this futuristic police uniform. I wish police uniforms looked like this, dude. This is so much better than what we actually have. Every cop looks like a fucking riot soldier now. He just has like this weird chrome sash, like thing with a badge. It does look a little bit fashy. I mean, it is a futuristic cop, but it's better than what we have now. Looks like Italian fascists. Italian cops are hot. I mean, they do look like fascists. And now they currently have a Nazi sympathizer in office, so maybe it's less cool now or whatever. It's just compared to American cops, basically anything is gonna look good, right? Because like not my thing. It's just modern day, like if cops are responding to something, they often look like this. And even if they're not responding to something like serious or whatever, it's like hold on, I'm trying to find one of them not responding to a riot. It's all shit like it's like this, like all the time. All cops are carrying like one Afghan soldier's worth of equipment on them all the time. Like they all look like fucking Rob Layfield characters because there's pouches and straps all over them, you know? Ugh. Oh, okay. We got to move on. We got shit to do today. King Kill, thank you for the $2. Regnad, thank you for the incredibly kind $20. I really appreciate that. Hey man, love your show. This is not for now. I lived through a fascist uprising. I want to talk with you about it. Format it how you want. I can't promise anything because my schedule is a dumpster fire, but if you email me, that would be the shot. Happy to hear you're still around with us. Wish I knew which fascist uprising. Kuntin Slayen, Lefty Pasta Sauce, and Rodzilla 2K. Thank you for the tier 1 subs all. I really appreciate that. Max Kepner and Syncrex Rock. Thank you for the $2 both. Make whoo boy your donut sound. Yeah, I should. Mr. Beast donated $100,000. If only. I deserve it. The Midnight Garnet with the $10. When a Hotep starts off saying, let me say this, you know it's going to be problematic. Yeah. It's one of those, like, let me preempt this statement kind of bits. Savage Boredom, Bob Simple Tank, Ender Films 404, and Astro Apocalypse. Thank you for the tier 1 subs all. I really appreciate that. She will block pretty much anyone, Astro Apocalypse. Got to be careful there. And Bob Simple Tank, I can do a New Zealand research stream sometime. The problem is New Zealand is always doing so well that it doesn't really have these, like, scenarios that make me want to research it. You know what I mean? Like, New Zealand seems to be, as far as I can tell, a pretty nice to live in, well-run country. You know, I'm sure it has its problems. It's just, you know, compared to a lot of other, yeah, a lot of other countries in the world. Spanish soldiers look like fasci gays. This is not actual Spanish military uniforms. Come on, this can't be it. They aren't. It is. Yes, it is. I Googled it. It is? Those are the Legion, a branch of the army? Holy shit. That's fucking dope, though. Amygdalis and Aiden Heron, thank you for the $2 both. Really appreciate that. KCJ from LI, thank you likewise. Sake with the 4 gifted tier 1 subs. Would a Vosh presidency create the Department of Underage Equine Studies? Gotta pursue research. Jason Heron Sparkler, thanks for the tier 1 subs. Kindred Reveler, thank you for the tier 3 sub. I really appreciate that. And Caribou Light, thank you for the $10. It's very kind of you. 999oooo1, thank you for the $8. I know you hate the arguments, but I really appreciate your defense of TOS. Maybe if I pay you enough, you'll feel better about having to talk about it constantly. Yes, it does help. Thank you. Yeah, I really hate that I'm like the guy on the left who's like the pro-corporate TOS arguments, but I feel like the discourse on this has gotten insane. There is no world ever that will have no TOS on social media. Ever. Because that'd be bad, and nobody actually wants it. They just lie about wanting it because they're either short-sighted or they're fronting a different political position and they want to pretend they have that so they can LARP as free speech warriors. It's not actually happening. It's not real. So let's just talk about which TOSs would be good, you know? And that's the discussion I want to have. Dedicated, thank you for the tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. Kowalski from Nebraska and True Homie, thank you for the $5 both. Need some advice. I wrote my ex a letter. In hindsight, that was a mistake, but she has a new boyfriend now and he messaged me. Should I just take the L or escalate? You wrote your ex a letter that was a mistake in hindsight, but she has a new boyfriend now and he messaged me. Why would you escalate that? Yeah, chat's on it with this one. Yeah. Just don't respond. Just leave. Fucking leave. Stay safe. And Kowalski says, almost fell 50 feet off a grain bin today. But through much pain, I got my arm wedged in a vent. I now know 1% of Vosh's pain dealing with chat. My shoulder hurts. Jesus, Kowalski. You know you'll die if you fall 50 feet, right? Oh boy. Yeah, Jesus. Take care of yourself. Fuck. KCJ from LI for the 2 $5 donations. Thank you very much. Just convinced a boomer rep to vote blue in a swing congressional district. Can I get a heckin' poggers? Hell yeah. Very happy to hear that. Vosh, we lived almost in a TOS-free world in the beginnings of the internet, and it sucked. Well, we really didn't, though, because the beginnings of the internet, like the forums, the social media that existed back then were like micro forums, and those micro forums were actually very heavily moderated by the people who owned them. There was no mass social media. The initial social media that we had was like small hobbyist forums that were heavily moderated by like community members who were known by the people who use those websites. You could find like IRC channels where you could talk to the mods of websites, and they were like people you knew. The modern social media apparatus didn't exist back then, but even back then there was heavy moderation. The closest thing we had to an unmoderated internet was that you could just make your own website and say whatever you wanted, but that's still true today. That's still true today. That hasn't changed. If you want to post neo-Nazi propaganda online, you can literally just make your own website and do that. There's nothing against the law about that. Aaron Litwiller with a very kind $20. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Good bit. Thank you very much. 4chan is interesting because it's more loose in TOS. I mean, they banned like all MLP discussion, you know? Paraluchadora and Noche the Cock, thank you for the $5 both. 3 places at once, thank you for the tier 1 sub. Sake with the $10, thank you very, very much. Oh wait, that was from 4 days ago. I read that one. Sorry. Will the Willow, thank you for the $5. The Swedish government just agreed to Erdogan's terms to distance ourselves from the Kurdish YPJ and PKK, so he'd let us into NATO. Ashamed to be a Swedish today. Yeah, ashamed to be Swedish today. Yeah, fuck Sweden and fuck Turkey. Turkey is the worst fucking NATO member, man. Jesus fuck. We only let them in so we could put missiles in there. I wish we hadn't done that. God damn it. TF Methodius, thank you for the $10. True. Sake with the 2 gifted tier 1 subs. Forget politics and video games. You could just stream yourself playing with Artemy and still grow as a channel. If I just put Artemy in the chair and left him there, he'd make more than minimum wage, that's for sure. He's on the computer now. Artemy, you're on my computer. Artemy, was that a big yawn? Artemy, you... Oh, we have a normal chat. Hey Vosh, what's your take on zoophilia within a utilitarian ethics system? Considering your history with underage horses, you're specially suited to answering this question. Don't fuck animals, guys. You're not getting my support on this one, okay? Now, human-horse hybrids, we can talk about it. Don't fuck animals, though. Probably shouldn't do that. Human-horse hybrids, however. Y'all know it was jokes, right? Ah, yes. Jokes. What are you doing, Artemy? What are you doing? No. Nuh-uh. No. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Are you kidding me? He was laying off the edge of the PC, and he was fucking tugging at the goddamn USB cables plugged into the motherboard in the back. Nuh-uh. No. I heard plucking noises. No. Absolutely not. Pigeon doesn't do that. He's mad. Okay. All right. Okay. He sure is being social. How would you make a human-horse hybrid? In a lab, of course. I saw that Anonymous 75. Sarah Burnside with the 14 Canadian, thank you very much. The current constitution only exists because provinces only agreed if the non-withstanding clause existed. Our constitution is basically useless and was just a way for Pierre Elliott to pat himself on the back. That fucking sucks. Man, Canada sucks. Not as bad as America, but you guys are working on it. Still alive in Control Salt Escape. Thank you for the $5 both. Really appreciate that. Haven't read the manga yet, but Denji, while horny and sometimes forward, seems to have an inherent sense of concern for the consent of his female counterparts. Yeah, more than anything, Denji just wants to be like loved and cared for, I think. You know, the horniness is just like the young guy framing for that. He is rubbing his face against my keyboard. Okay, Artemy, did you know that I have a job? Did you know that? Did you know that I have a job? He whined. He did a little whine. Pardon me. He went, eh. Van Annibal, thank you for the $10. I live in... Hey, Vosh, perhaps next time don't tell someone to off themselves. I'd appreciate that. I never did that. I have no idea what you're talking about. You're insane. You're delusional. BC law blocks residents from private care. I can in another province, and people from other provinces can here. That seems fucking annoying. Sake, thank you for the 2 gifted tier 1 subs. Really appreciate that. Vibrant Peacoat, thank you for the $5. Yeah, the wastes outside Cyberpunk are pretty fucking dirty. Yeah. Otto von Bismarck, thank you for the $5. This one scene from Pat Labor 2 is probably my favorite piece of near-to-future dystopia in any media ever. This is probably copyrighted, right? Oh, this is definitely copyrighted. I can't see. Stop playing. Sorry, I thought I had it paused. Hats. I always think of these as like the Ponyo hat. This is such a cute hat. Is this like a thing in Japan? Or it's like, this is like the hat little kids wear when there's rain. It's just like this yellow bowl hat. Yes, it is. Okay, yeah, it's a cute hat. Kids wear them to protect them from cars. Oh, so it's like for rain and also to make them visible so they don't get hit. Oh, that's interesting. Lava Monster and K-Red, thank you for the 5 both. Really liked your Cyberpunk takes, learned a lot. Thank you, K-Red. I'm glad somebody liked them. And Lava Monster, the creators of The Expanse, recently appeared on an anarchist podcast and talked about capitalism and inequality in their setting, their pretty pace. Damn, that's dope. Maybe I should look at that. MSDXR, thank you for the very kind $20. I really, really appreciate that. Jean-Paul Coulaire, thank you for the $5. Cool video on the realities and specificities of Aztec human sacrifice. I'll give that a look. I'm going to try to do more work on Unity today. I have ideas that I'm very fond of. Did I show you guys? Okay, I want to show you one more time because I'm still proud of it. I haven't done any work on Unity in a while because of the channel stuff and other reasons. However, the last thing that I did in Unity was that I made a somewhat functional movement AI for a little rat dude. Didn't you show us that? Yeah, I have. I'm opening Unity right now. It takes a little while to open Unity. Yeah, we saw that. I know you saw that. I said I already showed you this. Sake, thanks the 2 tier 1 subs. Yeah, we saw a bit of the Bender video. I looked at it more after stream. It was pretty funny. QWERTY and Weeking KV, thank you for the $5 both. Maybe QWERTY. Thank you, Weeking. Look, okay, you're gonna look at it again, because not all of you were here both times, alright? I made a goddamn rat! The green line is where the AI tells the rat to go. If they're on idle state, they'll find a new place to go wander to every 6 seconds or so. But if they're close enough to me, then they start zipping at me. See? But if I move far enough away from them, it breaks aggro, and they run back. See? It's very basic, but if I can get the basics of, if I can get the very, 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 very basics of, AI working, you know? I don't know. It's something. How much math did you need to learn? I can open the code. What happens if the rat gets to you? Nothing at the moment. Just... What? What? 1 second. Prepare for Yandere dev? My code is fine. There. It took this much math. Or code or whatever. Don't use Visual Studio. I like it! Barely anything. Yeah, well, I had to learn a lot just to get to this, okay? I mean, once it gets to you, will it just spaz out or will it just stop in place? I think once it gets to me, it stops in place. How do you even understand that? It looks like gibberish. I'm still a baby in this, okay? Don't ask me. Yeah, just stops. Eh. Eh. I can destroy it, too. All right, stop. The rat sounded like it was made of stone. I only have one noise for a hit sound. Okay. Ma Dib, thank you for the 7 Canadian. Vosh, I know you're a busy man. I'm a new fan of your content. I sent you a debate request on email, so just donating some for your attention. That won't sway my decision. I'll take a look when I take a look. I can't make any promises. My schedule is a mess right now. If anything's going to happen, it's going to have to be after the election, because we're right up against that. True Homie with $5 says, I did take the L and ignored it. Won't make that mistake again. I let my emotions get the best of me. Thank you for the advice. Now take my money. I love you. I hope that message wasn't too bad. Charlotte 96, the $5. We need cops to look like this again. Unimaginably preferable to what we have right now. So much more trustworthy looking than somebody in fucking SWAT gear staring at a corner from their car. Colleague Tessie with the $5. I tried clipping Gilmore's claws the first time without my mom holding him, and he was a chill dude. Aww. Yeah, cats aren't always that bad about having their nails clipped. Ooh, I gotta clip my baby's nails today. John Garrison, thank you for the $5. Danny Fire with the $15. Thank you very much. Whoa! Yes, I'm familiar with Cyberpunk Edge Runners. I want to watch it soon. Just waiting for Vermin to get back. Raptors SP88, thank you for the very kind $10. Night City. I still have my gripes. It's not too bad. I think a lot of people interpreted what I was doing as like trying to shit on Cyberpunk when that really wasn't my goal. I still don't like Cyberpunk because I don't like GTA style games that much, but you know, Nando Hand Oat with a very kind $5. It is cute, Tempest. Just donating an attempt to get more people to watch the anime Metropolis. Maybe I should. That's pretty dope. They survive on food handouts, but with the ziggurat celebrations. The king's pride has brought down the wrath of God upon him. I love bringing down the wrath of God upon me with my pride. Oh, spoilers. Maybe. All right, dipshits. That's enough. We had a wacky, goofy stream. It's been exactly 4 hours. You guys know the dark deal that I struck, all right? We can do high-quality content, as if. 4 hours a day. Or 5 if I'm playing video games. Anything past that, and it's a dice roll. Let me, dismiss that. And, the dashboard. God, my nose is so itchy. It must have been because of all the art of me playing. I inhaled some of his fucking cat hair. All right, who are we hosting today? I feel like hosting Shark again. Apparently he had a good debate recently, someone in chat said. Oh, it was Shark again, you know? Get on out there, you goofballs. I'll see you guys tomorrow, huh?